Hey there, happy Wellness Wednesday, everyone. Let's work on our
Amen.
wellness, whether that's, whatever that might look like.
Kathy is kicking off her wellness with MetaPower Advantage
Mm,
and working in the garden for 2 to 3 hours with no pain.
that's
Oh
amazing.
man.
And that's just good for you. I think there's something about having
Yeah.
your hands in the dirt,
Hmm.
literally in the soil, that's like so good for your body and your brain and your soul, all of it. So I love that.
Amen. My kids are all into gardening right now. So we have a little mini garden inside the house. We've got lettuces and peas. We've got some tomatoes starting and some strawberries. And my kids have just recently gotten into these little terrariums. Basically, they go outside and they find rocks and bark and moss, and they put it all together in these cool shapes, and it's really fun to let them get their hands dirty and just playing in nature.
I love that. Love it, love it. I mean, there's always exciting things happening though at your home, whether there's new critters or terrariums, or we're making candles, or just simply
Yes.
changing the world.
Right now, we're hosting our first ever coaches retreat. And so that's why me and the kids are at an Airbnb, because we got kicked out of the house. So
Oh, yeah, I was wondering where you were. I was about to say, wait, are you up in the apartment?
nope. We
You're at an
are,
Airbnb because you're doing a coach's certification.
yep. It's the people have already signed up to get certified. This is just kind of like extra training
Mm.
where they can hang out with the master coaches, get some just pampering. We're doing a lot of really cool things. It's been off the charts. I just have to tell you, we did sound bowls the first night. We did this yoga yesterday morning that it was like nothing I've ever done. There was actually very little yoga. It was just a lot of like therapeutic move your body and dancing. And anyways, it was off the hook. Kelly referred us to this gal named Joe. I don't know if you've
I've
done
heard of
some.
her through Kelly, but I haven't met her
Yeah,
yet.
so good.
Oh, I love
Everybody was
it.
just like,
Did you drop
so
in and
good.
participate?
I did. Yes. I was one of
Good.
the girls
I
yesterday.
wish that we had that on video because like last week when he showed that guy dancing and creating his own beehive, it was like, was it kind of like that?
It was better.
Were you
Yeah,
just like full throttle? We're gonna do a full send here on this dance, and you just like
totally.
let it rip, right? You all remember that from last week? I know you've all slept since then and you've entertained a billion other thoughts, but the guy dancing at the music festival that just like is willing to own his full on enjoyment of that experience and how he enrolls all these people. I can see Andy doing the same thing.
Totally. Well, Tiff, you found a really cool quote and you texted that over. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I messaged this to Andy this morning. It was on my mind as thinking about getting ready to drop in and be here with you all this morning and just getting really intentional and just having this thought, as I often do. There's, this concept, or you've heard me share before, about the conversation or the thought, the prayer, the intention of use me, God, use me. And as I was just dropping into those thoughts in the last few months, a couple of times I've seen a quote resurface on social media. And the quote says something to the effect of, show up in that space as if God sent you there, right? Meaning being more intentional and we're on assignment and just showing up with that intention. And whether God wants us to use humor today, right? Because he shows up in all kinds of ways. But however we, again, it's just Andy and I, at times we sync up into this thought process is, how can we best serve you? And that we're here intentionally to create space that, right, can be a blessing and can be insights and what's needed. And so if everyone just wants to kind of drop into the same intention that the highest good for all involved will take place today, that what needs to be shared and what can help us with growth, with healing will take place. And I get that some of you may say God, some of you may say universe. We can all hold the space though with that intention that we're here for goodness to take place. So yeah, that was the quote, is show up in the space as if God sent you there. And then I think we're just much more intentional beings about our words, our thoughts, and we're just more aware. What it does for me is it drops me into more presence, right? Of like, oh, I'm here in this space intentionally. So that was the quote, and that was the thought.
I love that so much. What if we all showed up in our doTERRA businesses and in every interaction with that same energy, like, I'm not here by accident. I'm not here to make money. I'm just here because God put me here. Like, this is, there's no accidents, and I'm here on God's errand. So I just love that invitation to all of us. So thank you for that, Tiff.
And one other one, if we can piggyback this, because I just saw it. I have a Post-it note that is right behind my laptop that's just looks at me regularly. And there's two quotes there. And one is this: it says, when you get in God's business, God will get in your business. And God's business is always the same. What's God's business?
Service, lifting.
It's always about love, right? That's God's currency. His currency is love, is kindness, is service, is like, okay, so when you get in God's business, which is the business of who can I serve today and use me for good, and how can I help? How can I support? All religions teach love and service, right? And true spiritual teachers, they're always teaching you to come home to love. And so when we're in the vibration, when we're in the intention, when we're in the words, the mouth, the hands, the actions of loving and kindness, and it's like, yes, love is always the business that's up for God. That's what would call perhaps the spiritual economy. And so when you show up with the intention of, I want to be rich in my spiritual economy. And when we were talking a lot about Marianne Williamson's work, The Law of Divine Compensation, and she talks about purity of heart is the miracle worker's engine of wealth creation, right? I'll say that again. Purity of heart, meaning my intention. You could just say the same word, intention, but purity of heart is the miracle worker's engine, meaning it's what's running the show of wealth creation. And so again, respecting truly, whether you say God, you say source, you say universe, you say love, the good, whatever language is aligning for you, we're talking about the same force, the same presence or essence, if you will. And so it's just like tuning into that spiritual economy, because if any of you right now, you're thinking, I'm stressed about money, or you felt that at all in the last 24 hours, you don't have to raise your hand and say so. You can. But the reality is that what you can definitely influence in this instance can change instantaneously is our mindset, our mood, our intention, and that we can instantly, even if we're not, quote, feeling it, we can still pray the prayer. Use me, God, today. Use me. I want to be a vessel of light, of love, of service. And when we drop into that and we're trying, even if again, like, oh, the spirit is willing. Sometimes that flesh isn't so much, but it's like we drop into, you're putting yourself into alignment of what you can control. And then that there's always, two creations, first spiritual and second physical. And so when we drop into that spiritual intention, how powerful it is. And yes, I'm loving, as Maria's saying, it's like, I am just lit up about this book, The Happy Pocket Full of Money, and on Audible or physical copy. I've been reading that and had some women come in town last week, and 7 of us gathered in Park City to mastermind. And what I just love is the entire group of women, even though there's different ways of connecting to faith, all of these women are very much connected to faith in God. And they're all just like, oh, and how powerful that was. Well, anyway, every one of these women, I gifted them a copy of this book because I'm just loving it so very much. But one of the things I'm loving about the book is it's just dropping you into your own consciousness and your own awareness that abundance is now. Love is right now. Service is right now. Wealth is right now. Even though where it changes is in our thoughts and what we're thinking and how we're perceiving things. But coming home to love and coming home to service and that intention will always be just good for yourself, and it will be good for your business, right? Sometimes you hear me use the language, oh, everything is energy. energy is everything. And that's so very true. You also just say, though, it's like coming home to the source, right? And sometimes when people say, oh my gosh, Tiff, you're such a powerful woman. And I always kind of smile at that. They're like, oh, you're a powerhouse. You're a powerful woman, powerful, power. And they're usually meaning that in a complimentary way. And I am great, that's always a kindness thing. But often what I will say to someone is, I appreciate you, or, the kindness they're sharing. And to just be really clear, I'm a higher powered woman. Where that power comes from is from my higher power, right? And being plugged into that in the ways that help, like being a man or a woman on purpose, is when you're connected with your higher power. That's true power, loves. That's true when we talk about, again, energy and abundance and joy. It's like being connected and nourishing your spiritual roots, how deeply and richly, again, powerful that is. So anyway, not that we meant to go to church today. I just had privately texted that to Andy and just saying, hey, just syncing us up to be intentional as we drop into this space with you this morning is let's be here with intention, and just hopefully that we can be a blessing for y'all today is the point. So
good. That reminds me of some advice that Dave Sterling gave to me and Natalie one time. We were, we were starting to climb up the ranks in doTERRA, and he pulled us aside and said, you're going to get a lot of compliments in this doTERRA journey and in this space. Just remember, don't inhale.
Yeah.
Inhale. So, this year we're doing a really deep dive into the New Testament and the life of Christ. And I just love how every time someone tried to praise him, he just turned it straight back to the Father, and said, none is good, but the Father. So for him to say that, it's pretty great little model for each of us, how to point that finger.
Yes. Good stuff. Well, can we talk about two fun things?
Yes.
Okay. Fun thing number one, let's celebrate some good news, is now, granted, many podcast hosts or shows would have been there sooner than but I do take some seasonal breaks because we know I need summer Tiff and holiday Tiff in my life. But my podcast, y'all, last week put out its 100th episode.
Wow.
So 100 shows, we've officially hit that milestone. And I know several of you listen to that podcast, you share that show, and I'm so grateful because of you. That show the last few years has been ranking in the top 1% of all global podcasts, right? And again, glory be to God, and thank you for being such a rich community that just shares the show, listens to the show. And there's so many rich topics that we're covering there on a regular basis. So thank you so much for, celebrating and sharing. If you're not part of my podcast group on Facebook, I invite you to join that, because it'll end tonight, so you can still get involved in some of these fun giveaways. Tomorrow, we're going to announce some winners we're doing some fun giveaways for that. But the podcast group is just Tiffany Peterson Podcast. It's free. Come be part of the community. You can share. And I am just so grateful for that milestone and being part of the conversations together, right? Rich, good conversations. So that's just a fun thing, right? I remember when I started my little show and I was just like, kind of, here we go. And it's just been a fun ride, and it's a fun thing to celebrate. But we are doing some giveaways, some of my favorite self-care items, some of my favorite books, access to my courses. We're just doing some fun things related to that, of sharing what's one of your favorite shows in the comments, or sharing it on social, or giving the show a review. We're doing that. So that's exciting. Number one. Jeff, the group name is Tiffany Peterson Podcast.
And I just posted
pretty vanilla, right? I mean, it's pretty vanilla. Tiffany Peterson Podcast. But this Facebook group was the launch group that helped launch that baby off into the universe, so to speak, back in the fall of 2019. So yes, Andy posted it there. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are there. So that's exciting thing number one. Number two, exciting thing. I mean, there's lots of exciting things. Is my next Success Academy group will kick off next week for 8 weeks. And then again, we will do a fall group. We take the summer off. But that is kicking off my formal group. If that's something that speaks to you, I know some of you've been through Success Academy before. Some of our fun doTERRA friends here have been part of that, but it's everything I privately coach, but at a fraction of the cost in an intimate group. And if you want more info on that, coachwithtiffany.com is the website. And if you're kind of on the fence or you're curious about it, or you want to know more, I invite you to take me up on a free gift of doing a free coaching session with one of my trained coaches. I have 3 that have worked with me directly for years, and they walk you through a clarity session of your own goals. They can also answer questions about Success Academy if you're interested, but either way, you'll leave that free coaching session with a lot of clarity for your next 90 days. So you can find that form on my main hub website, which is tiffanyspeaks.com under the tab coaching. You can fill that out or private message me on the DMs and I'll get you a link to that. But some fun stuff is coming up. I host an event tomorrow night here in Salt Lake called Coaching and Charcuterie. How perfect is that for me, Andy?
You're kidding me, right?
No, I'm not kidding you, because 3 of my favorite things, coaching, charcuterie, and community. But we did an intimate group. We're meeting at my podcast studio, my producer's studio, and we're doing a huge charcuterie board. My favorite snacks. Who loves a snack board, you guys?
Hey, anytime you can put out a bunch of meat and cheese and make it sweat, like I'm in.
That's right. Andy, say that again. He sent me this meme once about charcuterie boards.
You sent it to me.
Oh, I did? Well, tell them what it says, because it's so
I can't remember the details, but it's basically like, hey, anytime we can put meat and cheese on display and make it sweat in public.
Yes. I love great charcuterie. And the trick to great charcuterie is you need sweet and savory, right? So you have the cheese and the meats and the savory, and then you definitely need a little sweet on that board. So we're doing an event called Coaching and Charcuterie.
So somebody on Facebook is asking if that event tonight is open to the public, or is that just kind of a private?
We sold out those tickets in like 18 hours because there was only like 25 of them and they went quick. So that's tomorrow night. But you can get on a wait list if just by chance the next, 24 hours, a ticket or two, because life's people and might come available. There's an event on, just private message me on that and I'll send you the link to get on the wait list for that. And that way we'll also message you first when we host this again later in the year. But what we're doing is we're coming together, having some great snacks, some connecting. Again, it's an intimate group, like 25 people. And here in Salt Lake, we're meeting in person though. This is like what I'm so stoked about, right? And then we're going to take live coaching Q&As, kind of like we do here, but we're going to record them and turn some of those into podcast shows, right? So we're just going to have a yummy connection. Brett, I think, is the only man that signed up to come he's going to hold the male energy.
Male space.
Yes.
Sounds like me over the last 2 days at this.
Yes.
Retreat.
It's like Andy and the girls, Brett and the ladies,
Yeah, both of us. We're just one of the girls.
And then
awesome.
Friday morning, I'm off to Orlando. I speak for a group Saturday morning and back home by Saturday night. So it is a full week.
Wow.
It's like we got coaching and charcuterie happening, a new event,
That's
which
awesome.
I just love that you're so excited about this title. And then we're having a speaking engagement in Orlando. We have Success Academy. The spring has hit Utah. I've been on so many walks. The flowers are out. The sun is shining. I am a new woman. New life has entered me.
I love it.
It's so nice to see myself again.
Well, can I share a couple of events too?
Yes, get in there.
So tomorrow we start the Multiply to Diamond retreat.
Ooh, tell me more about that. That sounds sexy.
Yeah. So basically, we've been hosting rank retreats all year. And you come to the one based on where you are and what you're building towards. So this wouldn't be a great retreat for elites or premiers, but probably more in the silver and gold range. Could come to the Multiply to Diamond. And then we also move into the Experience doTERRA weekend, which starts Friday
Oh,
at
I
2
love
p.m.
it.
and goes till Saturday. So all these events are at sharesuccess.com and click on the events tab. So come.
Well, take your LLV and your MetaPower, Andy, because you got a lot going on.
Oh my gosh, we hosted events the whole week last week and then this week. So I think we're going to be a little bit evented out by the end of this week.
I'm going to find you at like hiding in your closet.
There may be some chocolate involved.
Yes.
Therapeutic grade chocolate.
Therapeutic grade chocolate. Mm. You know what else is just lighting me up still? Not that this is not a new thing, but Andy has a great recipe for it, is the Creo brew.
So
The cocoa
good.
bean Creo brew with a little almond and oat milk creamer, or no, it's almond and coconut milk creamer from Trader Joe's. And you just cream up that baby just a bit. It's so good.
Wow. So
Right?
I've shared the link to our little concoction that we make with it. But that's
Yes.
really yummy too. So
Andy has the best concoction and it's actually really healthy. It's basically like bulletproof Creo brew.
yep. It's what we drink every morning to help with the intermittent fast. And it's just lots of healthy fats and oils for your brain and really good stuff. Well, should we jump into some coaching today?
Let's coach, baby.
Let's do this.
I don't have any charcuterie for you here live, but if you want to grab your own snacks, get your snacks now, and we will do our own version, a little mini version of coaching and charcuterie together. Snacks welcome on this call.
Snacks welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We had somebody asking about what word we keep saying. I don't know the origin, but it sounds like it could be French. So maybe next time we'll have Tiffany do a little school report on the history of the word charcuterie.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, it's like, can you spell the word? It's kind of a mouthful a little bit, charcuterie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and raise your hand if you're ready to come on live and do some Q&A with us. Otherwise, go ahead and post your questions in the chat or comments. Carolee's asking, where do you get the brew? So Creo Brew is the name of the company that makes this. It's basically cacao grinds. So they've been roasted and then you steep them like you would coffee and you're making just a healthy chocolate drink. So creobrew.com. I'll grab the link and post it. I think most of the links are on that page, but I'll have to double check. I think the brands are. So like a lot of the stuff we add in comes from the Bulletproof company. So bulletproof.com. But yeah, great stuff. Oh, and thank you, Denise, for sharing the word history for charcuterie. I thought it was E-R-I-E, but maybe it's A-R-I-E. Huh. Learn something new every day.
But the concept is when people used every last bit of the meat and left nothing to waste. There we go. You can also call them a great snack board, right? You put some fruit, some veggies, some cheese, I like a little honey. We did some charcuterie and game nights with some couples Friday night, right? Little couple game night. And we all brought different charcuterie boards. I love you guys if you want to try this out. And then I promise we're going to get off charcuterie because I want to get into I want to help someone grow their business today. I want someone to have a breakthrough today. But one of my very favorite cheeses is a soft cheese called Bourgeon. And you can get it at Trader Joe's, or they even sell it at Costco, which I love the Costco, in a 3-pack, right? And Bourgeon cheeses, it's like Boursin, is a soft cheese, right? So you put that on a cracker. If you want to add some salami or meat, you can, but let's just keep it simple today. Little cheese on that cracker, a little bit of a honey drip, and then you put a raspberry on the top of that thing. Just saying, it was the crowd favorite last Friday night, and it's simple, but wow, it's so tasty. So there we go. But all right, so if you're here live, you're here.
Show? Is this?
No, we're getting off this. Okay, you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. So I want those hands up or join us live. Where are you stuck? What do you need help with? What do you want to strategize? We're coming into the last week of the month of April. We'll obviously meet next week and is officially the last week, but as we're at what? Today's the 19th of the month.
Yep.
And so it's a great time to think strategically. It's also a great time if you have not been sharing your products for a Mother's Day promotion. It's a great time to start doing that and seeding that. Is I have great Mother's Day gifts for you, and you do, right? From the various oils and spa treatment things and so forth. You've got a lot of options. It's a great time to be seeding that in your social media, your email, your newsletters, your text lists with your customers. Is just like, hey, thinking about, again, those Mother's Day gifts that are coming up. It's still a few weeks out, but that way they're planning and they think, oh, great, I've got it handled. So anyway, just a little plug for Mother's Day in a way that we can be modeling promotions. The other thing I did see online, Andy Goddard, just so you know that I know that those rose sets have started arriving.
No more secrets. If I hear scratching on my window at night, I'll know who it is.
Yes.
Awesome. Maria, welcome.
Good day. How are you?
Hi,
So
love. So good to
good.
see your face.
Good to see you too. I'm all ready for spring and summer with my LBI. It's Long Beach Island in New Jersey.
I love it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
love it.
So, yeah, I tend to show up here. So I love this platform. And I thank you so much for all the book picks and just the quote that you mentioned this morning, Tiffany, just being aligned with your higher power, just being all in and present, just sharing what sharing things that are good in your life and just with a purity of heart to bring it to other people. So I am doing some spa demos. My very first, this is a fess up for me. Last year I launched just a soft launch, and it was mostly through networking groups. And I met people one-to-one, but my inner circle, I didn't really, I had that kind of a worry. They're going to look at me as a salesperson rather than that purity of heart. But I've come around to it's just created so much value and health and really, life in my own life, as well as people that I've seen other people. But my question today is related to a couple of people on my team that are partners that are interested in launching. And I probably have asked this question before, but just I have the business building guide. So I basically will just refer to that as a strong start. And how to build belief in others, I guess, and I'm thinking, is it just through taking the action? That's what I'm thinking. Just taking the action, and then you begin to see, just like myself, and being consistent. Because that's what I've been saying to people is, some of us are like more of a turtle pace, and some of us are more of a rocket ship pace. But I feel like no matter what your pace, if you're consistent, you'll do well. Just some feedback on that.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations on stepping from talking to cold market to your warm market. That's a huge step. And so that's worth celebrating. So in terms of setting people up for maximum success in their launch, I think it's critical to there are lots of things, and most of these are mentioned in the business building guide that you're holding. I think it's crucial to schedule 3 classes, all within a short time period, like minimum a 3-day period, maximum like a 2-week period, just to create that momentum. First of all, when they're inviting their people to those classes, if they can't make it to one, they can offer them the 2 other dates as well. So it just creates way higher chances of success in getting those who they're inviting to actually attend an event. So that's an easy one. The other thing that it does, when we have any success in life, it creates a chemical, it triggers these happy chemicals in our body. And so what that does is it actually breeds more success. And so if you can create those ideal circumstances for success, then they're more likely to engage more and to want more of what they just created. So when you have 3 classes in that short time period, it's a great way of them committing and going all in and actually getting results. So more people will attend, more people will enroll. And, the fast starts might not change their lives just from a purely financial perspective. But, when people make a few $100, that actually really gets their attention. That creates this like, oh my gosh, like I did something I enjoy and I got these fruits. We have some neighbors that just started building with us. And as they're starting to help their teams, their new customers have these breakthrough health experiences, it's life-changing for these friends of ours because they're doing something that's meaningful and that they love. So those are the really simple, basic answers. In terms of building belief in them, helping them have success is the best way to build belief in them. So as you, and the cool thing about the business building guide is it's structured to help them build belief in the product and build belief in the company and opportunity. So as your builders are building that belief, then you're going to build your belief in them. So it's this perfect belief storm, right? Where everything is working together to help everyone grow and go next level. So I love that you're using the tools, that you're using the business building guide. It really is the collective knowledge of all the top leaders in doTERRA. So, and it's not based on best practices, it's based on principles. So.
Well, then I'm on the right track because I asked my
Absolutely.
one builder, she just got it in her LRP, the physical copy, and we're starting to work through it together. So I like to keep it simple because I tend to get like a little overwhelmed myself. So I think it's great a way to streamline a launch
Totally.
for someone. And I just want to be sure we're on the right track. And yes, we were planning on launching in May in perhaps a week span of time, doing a few launch
Yeah.
demos. So
Another
awesome.
little tip on that when you're scheduling, try not to straddle 2 months when you're booking those 3 classes. If you can pack them all into the same month, then that creates the momentum for that month, right? So you can dedicate all that volume to whatever rank they're going for. Maybe some people push for elite their first month and they make it. So
Yeah.
you can do that by keeping the classes close together. But Tiff, I'd love to hear, what are your thoughts on how to build belief in people? Yeah.
I just love, and you're doing so much right, love. And it's so exciting to see what you're creating. And I think that what Andy was sharing, just so many gems already been covered. And I think, I'm a big fan of course, it's like you nourish them also in the same time frame with things that are personal development or belief oriented, but small snippets, right? Like, hey, this YouTube video, or like Share Success has a ton of great videos. But from, small snippets of videos to a podcast link, or here's a quote that I read, that helps inspire vision, hope, possibility is like, I love you're taking, you're creating, even if it's like, they may not have seen it, you're speaking that life into them. I love that you're creating or taking a more intentional, you're being more intentional with your own health, your own wealth, and your own life. Like, how cool is that? And I just see that in you as, the power of choice, the power of change. And that if it's again, a quote, a small, snippet of something, a page of a book, a podcast, a video that is inspiring and nourishing hope, change, possibility, power of intentional living or vision work, I think is a great thing to be sharing with them as well. It's just like a little way to be like dripping on them that is nourishing, that leads them in the growth of their business, but it may not be always just hey, let's what we're doing to grow the business, is like reminding them that they're powerful creators is so valuable to do with our people for all of you listening, right? It's like when you nourish your people, you nourish your children, you nourish your sweetheart, your friends about the power of their possibility, that they're a powerful creator, and coming back to vision and those possibilities. I think that's such a powerful thing that we're regularly nourishing, but especially when we say, how do we spark belief? Well, we bring people home to true principles, and it's like, oh, that's right. And those possibilities exist.
Thank you. That's really great. I do also, like, I have the diffuser going, and thinking about, I just applied for essential emotion certification last month. I'm still waiting but just using that book in my own life. And I'm encouraging other people just on the daily to really get involved in that movement as well. And so the business builders, of course, we're all keeping our mindsets positive and moving forward in just managing our own day-to-day health. So really good point, Tiff. Well, thank you so much again for everything. I really do appreciate this. And I'm very honored to be a part of it. So have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much, Maria.
Becky's asking she says, I love the idea of sharing inspiring quotes to encourage belief. Do you have a good source for quotes like that? Right. I mean, they're kind of everywhere, really. I mean, social media, I shared a great quote. Feel free to go, screenshot it on Facebook today. I'm regularly sharing those things on social. Feel free to reshare them or snapshot them. But I often, there's certain accounts that I follow, they'll share good content, or Pinterest. I really love to go to Pinterest and search inspiring quotes or possibility or belief, any of the keywords, right? And Pinterest is a great source for that too. And then as you see a quote that you love, or you listen to a podcast you love, on my phone, I have a photo album titled Quotes. And so I'll like save it in that album. And so if I'm looking for inspiration for myself or to share with my content, right, I'll drop them in there. And so I would keep something similar either on your desktop or your phone, is like, just keep tucking those quotes. Like Andy shared with us so many great quotes last week or a couple of weeks ago when we were highlighting Marianne Williamson's book, right? And different graphics he'd made with those quotes, right? Those kinds of things, as you can make your own, or there's so many out there that are already made that you can just regularly then be sharing and dripping on people with that.
I love that. This idea that each of us is a beacon of light to those around us, and to just be in the business of personal development, like just reframing, like, I'm not an oil pusher, I'm a light giver, like that's so powerful. And I love the name of your company, Tiff, for that reason, the lighthouse principles. It's about being that light. That's
so true. So good. Becky had also a great question too about, Becky, do you want to come on live? Love to see your beautiful face if you want to. If not, her question up above said, any ideas for re-enrolling people who perhaps haven't ordered for a long time?
Awesome.
Do you want to come talk about that live? I mean, if not, we can just riff on that question because it's a goodie.
That's such a great one. Yeah, we have whole teams that, especially in Utah, that they're just out there sharing samples and talking to everyone in line at the grocery store. And half of the people have had doTERRA accounts in the past, and so it was just a matter of like, oh, well, do you want to keep working with that person, or do you want to work with me? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm not in touch with that person anymore, or they never followed up with that. So it's really, in terms of like best practices, if you're asking like, how do I reconnect with those people? There are ways to find them in your back office. And thank heavens, doTERRA announced at leadership that they're going to give us a 6-month view instead of 3-month view of history. So that'll allow us to reach back even further. And so Yeah. So that's how to find them in your back office. But if you're just asking like, what are the technical ways to reactivate them? I honestly can't remember. I know that in the past they had to like send an email and it was really awkward. But they've made it more streamlined and I can't remember the exact details. So whoever has that knowledge, if they wouldn't mind just sharing it, you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat and we'd love to hear how they've streamlined that process.
Mhm.
Maria's asking if there's a
Can I
template.
share a little bit on that?
Oh, please. Yeah.
Just really quick, because I think that I love the concept of past customers.
Mhm.
Because a past customer, friends, they were obviously they purchased in the past and they were engaged in the past. And we know, therefore, it's likely just it may not be top of mind in the moment. Right. And it's just the power of this where we go, oh, okay, that's right. And bringing them back home to that vision and that purpose. And I think it's a really easy, it's just you reaching out. It's like, hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you? How's your health and wellness? I'm just curious if you're still using your oils. Are there, any new things up for you or your family, allergies or sleep things or digestive, anything I can help support you with, right? You just drop in with a check-in question. It's just a connection, a reach out, right? Where you don't have to sell them anything in terms of like, hey, here's the product we're promoting this month, but more so it's a check-in question. How are you? And are you still using your products? And are there any oils you never actually ever even opened? And maybe I can help you brainstorm that with you, but anything up for you or your kids right now, or your family or whatnot related to, maybe allergies or sleep or digestive things. And then oh yeah, man, I forgot about that. Or I'd love to know. And you're just creating a check-in engaging question, but it's about them versus I have a product to sell you. Is you ask them, right? Of here, this is what, you're just checking in and you're connecting. It's similar if I've hired like a professional organizer in the past, man, and you're like, oh yeah, I haven't utilized that in a while. I need to recommit to that, or I could use their help again. But just even hearing from them is a deposit in the connection. And so some of you, if you're feeling nervous about reaching out, you don't need to, because all you're doing is it's a connection call, not a sales call. And often it's like just all you're doing is you're checking in under health, which is the larger umbrella. And then potentially you have support to offer them or re-engage with them. And you could also at that point and just say, hey, well, I also, as they engage or they share and saying, we also have a new product line that's come out in the last year that's people are just loving, that's helping with, this, and this related to MetaPower. Yeah. So super powerful. I love checking in with past clients because past clients, it's similar for me as a coach, even if they haven't been actively working with me for the last few months or even few years, reaching out to someone we worked together 5-6 years ago. How's life and how are you? And where's your business at now? And tell me the new and good and tell me the challenging. And all we're doing is connecting. And then they share, and there may be a place in there where they bring up the conversation proactively. Oh, I need to order more of that. Or, Tiff, I want to explore coaching with you again, this kind of thing. Or I could share with them, awesome, it's so good to connect. And they share with me what's up for them. And then from there, you can lead where the conversation goes. But then potentially you might share with them, we'll have a new thing coming up, or this is taking place, or if I can support you. But you're asking them where they're at, how they're doing, what's new for them, what's challenging. And then from there, it just gives you an opportunity to connect and potentially then a lot of that times re-engage with, yeah, I could use that back in my life again.
I love it.
You could even share, diffuser blends. Oh, I'm just loving this new, as you're connecting, this new springtime blend is really, really, really good too.
Yeah, there's about a bajillion opportunities to get your foot in that door, like MetaPower, right? Like how many people need better metabolic health? Only about 92%, according to you know,
Right.
the survey that, or the research that doTERRA cited at convention, right? Only 6.7% of Americans have good metabolic health. So it was like a longer word than that. It was like cardio metabolic or something like that. So that's one. Sunscreen. You know, doTERRA's got the new sun line that who needs that? Everyone needs that. One of the
I just
cool
ordered
things,
that last month.
you did?
I mean, I know you guys think I'm really like tan. I know you do. And I know you think like, why would that girl need sunscreen? I mean, she's just like got such a rich pigmentation, but I need sunscreen too.
Well, can I share something that Becca, I can't remember if she shared this on from the stage, but one of the cool things about the face blocker is it actually blocks blue light. So anybody
Oh,
who uses a screen at all, can you raise your hand if you might use a
mhm.
digital display throughout the day?
So if you're fair and you use a screen, lucky you. That
So
is super
I
cool though. I didn't know that.
I know I'm going to be using it every day as soon as we get ours, because I use computers, and that's one of the biggest ways that we get skin damage. So really, really great ways to start that conversation. And thank you, Tim, for putting in the chat the language they sent to placements if people are re-enrolling and they want to come in a different location. And Kathy's saying you can just have people call doTERRA and just pay the renewal fee and they're back in. So
I love
thank
that. I
y'all.
love Marie's idea too. Marie saying, I got a really good idea from Gina Truman. Send
Mhm.
postcards, quote, snail mail with some education and a quote offer for re-engaging. And she says, I sent the 15 cards and by month 3, I had 5 customers reactivate. A third of your customers reactivate from that, I think is awesome. And it's just another way of like, hey, I'm thinking of you and here's what's coming up. And again, sometimes people quit ordering, not because they're like, I don't want this anymore. They're just like, life is busy and they're focused on other things. And so we just check in to connect.
Yeah.
And we realize, hey, we're just showing up to serve them. That's all you're doing. And then from there, it's like many of them might be interested in ordering again. I would
Yeah.
say more than not will be interested. Some might be like, oh, I'm good. We still have plenty of product, but thank you. You know, but all you're doing is nourishing that connection as I'm here to be, you know, part of your life and support you.
Love that. So on that Gina idea, can I just add a huge amen? People are so swamped by emails and even text campaigns nowadays.
Yeah.
There is some magic to good old fashioned snail mail, ink on paper, physical postcards. Natalie and I have been sending them mostly as a kind of a reactivation, but also just like, hey, do you know about MetaPower? Do you know about you know, sun care? And the return on investment is insane. Like I'd have to go back and check the numbers, but it seems like we spend, you know, about $1 for every $6 we get back. Like it's ridiculous, the ROI on
Totally.
old fashioned postcard marketing, because people know the brand, like they're already a customer, they love the brand. And so they just need one more touch and it pushes them over the top. And we track, like, this customer has not been ordering for this period of time. After the postcard, they did place an order. So it's not like, you know, we're not cooking the books. It's crazy. So we're big fans of the postcards. And if anybody's looking for great postcards, onedropdesigns.com has some great stuff. So yeah, they're great. Okay, yeah, the 75 hard challenge was great at leadership. Another great way to leverage just that physical touch. I love how they incorporated prayer into that 75 hard challenge. So Denise is asking what content. Just go to One Drop Designs and you can see. I mean, they I don't know who is actually doing the designs over there, but they have so many like quality designs to choose from. So like you've got your own little look and feel just just hop on there and you'll find something that's your
Mhm.
style. So, oh, DMK. I didn't realize they have postcards too. Oh, I think you might be talking about business cards. Okay. Anyways, somebody asked about business cards for doTERRA. Just hop on Google and just search up doTERRA business cards. I just did it. And there's about 100, probably 1,000 different options there. You can buy templates from Etsy, take them to your local print shop and have them printed. And yeah, there you go. Google our friend.
Mhm. We love Google.
Yes, we
I am a
do.
big fan of snail mail. I
Yeah.
love the handwritten note, but especially if you can just print postcards and, you know, again, you're putting it out there it's kind of like doing what, I mean, there used to be so much more direct mail marketing. Now there's so little of that because everyone's on tech and everyone's on email and text and all of that. So it's like, you're kind of, that's definitely moving in the standout category. It's like to get snail mail, and snail mail you're happy about, not just bills, right? Like, oh, this cute card, this postcard. And you can even, you know, here's another marketing thought is you can say, hey, when you get this card, reach out to me and let's have a conversation and we'll redeem that. You know, I'm going to send you 3 new samples of, you know, whatever. I mean, you could go down that path too, or with every new order, you know, I'll send you a free bottle of lemon or whatever the case might be. You could also do something where, you know, again, you're incentivizing them to reach back out to you.
Totally. So back to the business card conversation, Jeff is asking, do you promote doTERRA or just yourselves? If I can just be totally frank, it is like considered professional to have a business card, but I think the best hack out there is to not have a business card. Because when you're talking, sharing a sample, whatever, and they're like, oh, can I get your card? The best thing you can do.
Here you go, friends, pay attention to what he's about to say, because this is true.
The best thing you can do is to get their contact info. If you can say, oh, shoot, I don't have my cards with me. Can I grab your cell number? And then ask at that time, do you mind if I follow up with you on the sample I gave you? Or can I follow up with you on, because if you own their contact info, not own, but if you have it, then you own the communication channel. If you put 1 million business cards out there in the marketplace, how are you going to reach out to those 1 million people that you handed them to? You can't. There is no way. So not having a business card has been one of the best assets we've had for that reason. I know it feels good to have, you know, this cute design and cute little business card. It's great to maybe give that out and get their contact info. But I just, yeah. And I hear that if you're doing business networking, you know, exchanging cards is just kind of the standard practice. But 90% of the time, Natalie and I have not had business cards with us. And that's been the best thing that could have happened. So anything you want to add to that, Tiff?
I'm just giving that a hearty amen, because again, it's like, let's just be candid, friends. Like 99% of the time, those business cards go right in the trash. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but let's just be truth telling. If you are going to do a card, I would put some kind of gift or incentive, or go to this link or fill out this quiz for a free gift. Again, you use it as an incentive that it's actually a gift. Like, here's this card. But the card isn't just your name and contact. It's here's how you win, or how you get something for free or receive or whatnot, is a way to create, you know, again, the likelihood of them keeping it and following up, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, enter your, you know, scan this QR code or reach out here or go to this link for this freebie. That is a way to create a higher engagement off of a card. But what Andy was saying would be my very first choice as well. Is like, hey, you get their contact information.
We have a question on Facebook about the new affiliate program that doTERRA is doing. My biggest advice there is just hop on doTERRA's calls they're doing. You're going to get way more info than we can give you in 30 seconds here. So hop on those calls. The Refer a Friend program the last postcard that Natalie and I sent out, that was the main focus of the postcard was, hey, did you know that you can get doTERRA dollars now just for sharing a link? You know, like refer a friend is such a great excuse to get your foot in the door, start up conversation, and just get those customers, you know, those loyal customers to become your greatest asset of sharers. That's really the backbone of this company is the casual sharers. So, oh my
Where do
goodness.
we guide people to get on those calls? That's what's being asked in the chat box.
I would just Google doTERRA affiliate program. I've been getting emails about them, but I don't know if that's because of rank or whatever. So just go to our friend Google.
Oh, Google, we adore you. Well, it's so good to be with you all this week, and we're so thankful you're here. What a rich call from like God to purpose to like strategy and connection and all the good things, you guys. This has been a great call and a great session. Thank you for showing up. We cheer you on. Anything else you want to wrap us up with, Andy?
No, just thank you, Tiff, for bringing it like you always do. And thank you all for being here and sharing the love. We're all in that love, in that business of sharing love. So thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Hey, see you guys.